we mean when we say that you need to lift heavier than 10 pounds when it comes to strength training or resistance training? Now, 10 pounds might be heavy for you relative on the movement you're doing, something like an overhead press or a tricep extension or whatever it is, and that's perfectly fine. When we think about total body strength training, especially things that are loading the spine and the hips to the areas where we see the biggest decrease in bone mineral density as we age, we want to think about doing something heavier than 10 pounds. Now, if you're just starting out and you're starting out with something like a bodyweight squat or a bodyweight goblet squat, or using 10 pounds to do something like a lunge, that's totally fine. But your goal over time should be to lift more than 10 pounds. When we think about our movements that we do in daily life, you are probably frequently moving things that are 10 pounds and more in your day-to-day life, or you might have to at some point in time. Thinking about putting a suitcase overhead in an airport, or lifting an object or a box off the ground when you're moving something, and things like that. So we want to think about, yes, starting where we're at, 10 pounds might be heavy relative to what you're doing or your skill level, but think about building and going for more. So then over time, you're able to do more for heavier for things like a deadlift, a squat, heavy lunges, heavy step-ups, as well as chest and overhead pressing movements, and that should be the goal over time. So if 10 pounds is where you're at, start there, but we want to think about loading that heavier, or think about, is 10 pounds actually challenging me to an effort that is a 7 to 9 out of 10, with 10 being the most I could possibly lift? If not, increase that weight and keep going.